And Isaac will be our host today. This is Isaac right here, Isaac Morda. So we will get started. Isaac, you ready? Okay.
Hello everyone. My name is Isaac. My name is Isaac. I'm in third grade. I'm a student at Thiebaut Method. For my social good project, I decided to partner with an East Palo Alto police officer and a East Palo Alto school to host a talk where students can learn more about police officers' job. I also wanted to give students an opportunity to meet meet the police officers in our community. In the process of my social good project, I was able to get to know some police officers a bit better. One of the police officers that I got to partner with is Commander Liu, who is joining us uh, today and will be answering some questions to explain more about his job. I will now begin a question and answer session where I ask Commander Liu some questions about his job and he will answer them for us. Commander Liu, have you ever confused a taser with a gun?
Well, this is an interesting question. And first of all, hi, Isaac. Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. So at the East Palo Alto Police Department, we don't have tasers. So I've never had the opportunity to carry one. Um, so I've never been in a position where I had to choose one or the other. But I know that in our profession, there's been a lot of discussion. There's a recent video and incident where a taser was mistaken for a gun and it had tragic outcomes. So in California, all the police agencies that I know of go to great lengths to make sure that the taser is kept on the other side of the body, handled differently, and there's clear distinction between the two so that you don't make that mistake, because we all know that the consequences are very tragic, and we don't want to see that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commander Liu, for answering that question. And also, what types of commands do you have to make for the police department?
So commands come in different forms. So there's our policies, and it's a very large book of policies that we all have to abide by. There's the law that we abide by, and there's just right and wrong. And basically, what everything comes down to is just doing the right thing versus the wrong thing, right? So in terms of commands, commands come in the form of policies. Commands come in the form of laws. In terms of me giving commands, I try to limit those to, hey, you're working this shift or you're working that shift. In terms of telling officers or sergeants what to do on a regular basis, my emphasis is more teaching them how to make that decision for themselves so I don't have to tell them what to do. Because I can't be with them all the time. When they're out on the street and they're responding to calls and they're coming to your homes, I expect them to do the right thing. So I need to prepare them for that. I can't be there with them to tell them what the right thing is. So we train them. First of all, we make sure we hire the right people. We hire people that have pure heart, hire people that are going to make the right decision, people that really care about the community and care about people. We find those core values. We find those people that are going to make the right decision, no matter what, no matter who's there or who's watching, and then we train them to do the police officer job. That way, I don't have to give them the commands. They're giving themselves the commands, and they're making the right decisions.
Thanks for answering the question. And um, do you like to be a commander and why?
I do. I've been with East Palo Alto Police for over 20 years now. During that 20 years, yeah, Colo, 20 years, that's a long time. um, I've been here over 20 years, and Commander Carson's been here longer than I have. And we've really gotten to meet a lot of people in the community and build a lot of relationships. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I know some of your moms or dads, brothers and sisters, and just people that we built the relationships with. And, starting as an officer and then becoming a sergeant and now becoming a commander, I found that my role has changed quite a bit. So before, my 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 influence was limited to a small amount of people. I started off and only influence myself, and then as I promote, I'm able to create more influence. Now, as a commander, with Dave and I, and then the chief, who we both answer to, we're able to shape our police department more, and we're able to do the hiring. So Dave and I, we pick all our new officers together, and we're able to pick the people who will serve our community the best. Instead of just picking anybody that meets the qualifications, we're not okay with that. We really get to know who the applicants are and figure out who are going to be the best ones for East Palo Alto. And so that part, I enjoy a great deal, because what I hire is what serves you guys and your families.
Yeah. And do you have to train to be a commander? And what kind of training do you have to do?
So there is a lot of training. Not only is there training in terms of going to school. If you see back here, hold on, trying to figure out my Zoom. Oh, here we go. Here we go. That's a bachelor degree that I earned from the University of I was California State University, East Bay over in Hayward. And then the one on top is my master's degree that I just earned from the University of San Diego. That's the schoolwork type of training. In addition, California Post, which is the agency that controls all the police departments in California, and they set the standards. There's a lot of training classes that we go to where we learn how to be better police officers, better police sergeants, better detectives, and better commanders. So there's a great deal of training there. But I think the most important training we get is the training from our community, and our community members getting out and meeting and seeing what you guys need and what you guys want, and how we can best protect you guys and to best serve our community here. Because what our city needs is different from what Palo Alto needs, and different from what Mountain View needs, and different from what San Jose needs. We're all different cities. We have different personalities, and we all have different needs, and we have different relationships with our community. I really like that East Palo Alto. I mean, I've been here this long for a reason. I mean, I could have left and got paid a lot more money, but I stayed here for a reason. And that's because the relationships I've built in this community, and, the way that we operate as a community. We have something special in East Palo Alto, something.
Oh, so I will just quickly interject for anybody who joined the talk a little bit later. You guys can, whoever just joined that I admitted, if you guys could kindly put yourself on mute. And also I'll take that moment to ask if the students can pause the chatting for this moment, and then we'll have time for you to ask your questions in just a little bit. Okay, thank you. Lisa, can you put yourself on mute? Your screen will appear for as long as it's not on. Thank you, Lisa.
I have a question for you, Elise.
Also, on the second floor of the police department, on the windows of the police.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Somebody mute Layla. Mute her. Isaac, can you mute Layla?
Yeah,
The police officer can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you for that idea. We just muted her. Thank you. Go ahead, Isaac, and ask your question.
So why is there railings on the windows of the police car?
So when I first started here in East Palo Alto, we didn't have railings on the cars. And what we found was sometimes when we arrest people, they don't want to go to jail. And we put them in the back seat of the police car. And I've watched it myself where they start kicking the windows of the car. And then next thing you know, the whole door is broken and it causes a lot of damage to the car. So when I started building the police cars and ordering the equipment for the police cars, I added the bars on the windows to protect our cars from getting kicked. It's just ideally nobody would kick the windows and they would just sit back in the back seat, but there are certain people that do want to kick the windows and it causes a lot of damage. And then when it breaks the glass, it cuts people, and it's just it's a lot easier and safer for everybody if we just put bars on the window just to make it safer.
Oh, and what's your favorite part about being a commander?
I would say watching the officers grow from the moment I meet them when they're applying for the job to sending them through the testing process, which takes a long time and there's a lot of steps they have to get through, but we really get to know them really well. But watching that brand new police officer and then developing them and building them and then watching them get better and better, and every time they succeed, every time they do something great, that feeling inside of pride that I get, you know, I mean, if you look on my, I'm sure none of you are on LinkedIn, but sometimes I post things on LinkedIn where my officers did something fantastic, something great. I like to brag about it and talk about how great they are, and then talk about their accomplishments. And it just gives me a feeling of pride, like a school teacher, if you will, watching the students learn and grow, and then get really good at what they've been taught. It's a great feeling, and that's my favorite part.
What is something that one of your police officers has done that you're proud of?
Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up on a separate screen and share it. Let's see here. Where? Okay, how do I find my posts under posts and activity? Here we go.
Just some technical difficulty.
Okay, can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Can everybody see?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the day when Isaac came to the police department. There's Isaac, and that's Officer Eric Lopez and I. This is something that I just shared that Paul posted out, and then I shared it. Officer Lopez here, I've been Eric Lopez. He is like super good with kids. I just watched a call the other night where
Okay, I was able to mute.
okay.
Ow, my ears.
Okay, sorry everybody.
Everybody okay?
Okay, I think we survived that one.
That kind of hurt my
My
ears.
ears are bleeding.
Yes.
Okay, if everybody's ears are restored, continue. Okay,
My ear hurt.
officer.
Okay. You guys, everybody okay now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the call I'm talking about. Here's Officer Lopez and Officer Mercado. They went to a call where mom and dad were fighting. Hopefully you guys have never had to see that. But one thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is when mom and dad are fighting, the kids are watching it and then they have to watch. We recognize that we don't, that's not a good thing, right? So while they were there, they spent over an hour with these kids. And I want to say this little girl right here, the one sitting next to Officer Lopez, wanted to paint his fingernails with fingernail polish. And I mean, I've had it done by my granddaughter before. As a matter of fact, I have some polish on right now. You guys don't want to see it. But for them to let a little girl polish their fingernails really shows where their heart is and how much they really care about people. So they both had their fingernails painted. It really shows how much they're willing to put themselves out for community members, and that just warms my heart. So that's the most recent thing. So I can stop my share here.
Yeah. Now, this is the last question. What advice would you give to someone who wants to be a police commander or is planning to be a police commander?
The same advice I would give anybody that wants to do anything, even if it doesn't want to be a police commander. And the advice that I wish I had when I was all of your ages, when I was still in school. I know there's a lot of distractions, but focus on school, focus on learning everything you can, especially how to learning how to write, read and write. Very, very important because the police commander, I can't even begin to describe how much I have to read and write. And police officers also. You guys may see what police officers do when they're out on the street, but every time they do something on the street, they have to go back and write a report about it. And those reports can be very, very long. So focus on your writing ability. Learn everything you can because your teachers are doing their best to teach you guys and teach you all everything they know. So it's very important that you guys do your part and learn as much as you can. Because police, what I've learned in over 20 years is we're expected to have the answers to everything. So if you guys don't learn it now and you want to become police officer, which I hope you all do, and you want to become police officer later, you won't have the base knowledge that you need later on down the line. Right? So focus on school, learn as much as you can, go out, participate in sports, do everything that makes you happy. But when you're in the classroom, make sure you're learning. Make sure you learn as much as you can. And my daughter works for the school district and has done a lot of the hiring, and she keeps telling me how great the teachers are now in the Ravenswood School District. So I know you got some great teachers teaching you guys. So learn as much as you can. Pay attention in class. I know you get distracted sometimes. I know I do too, but make sure you study as hard as you can.
Yeah, that's some great advice. And thanks, Commander Liu, for answering my questions. And now I will now give some time for anyone who has some questions for me or Commander Liu.
Perfect. And the way we'll go about it is if you can raise your hand, and we will pick you, so one at a time, and we just ask that the questions that you ask be respectful of everybody. Thank you very much. Okay, so you have here Sadai. Okay, you can ask her to unmute.
So
Oh, what
There you
so my sister, I think like 3 or 2 years ago, she graduated. She was trying to be a cop, I think, and then she graduated, I think. I'm not sure. Um and we is it like So do you have to go to school to be a cop, or do you have to like do training first?
So you have to have graduated from high school. That's the basic qualification. But then, we look past that. We look at your history. We look at what kind of person you are. And if you're hired, then you go to a 6-month police academy. And that's like 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday, some weekends. And you go to police academy as your only focus for 6 months. And then after that, when you come out, you go into a field training program where sometimes when you see two officers in a car driving around, one of those is usually a trainee where they're learning on the job. They're learning um, how to take their academy training and take it to another level and learn there. And then for the next year, when they're done with that program, for the next year after that, they keep training. And then actually throughout our whole careers, we're constantly training and we keep learning more. But the basic foundation is the police academy and then field training.
Thank you. And next we have here, we just asked you to unmute. I think it says Mohammed.
So I have a question for Commander Liu, Jeff Liu. So what made you want to be a police commander, and what was on your mind at the time when you wanted to be one?
So at the time, I was a police sergeant here in East Palo Alto. And
Did you hear me?
I'm sorry, what? So at the time I was a police sergeant and in investigations, and it was a difficult time for our police department. We were between police chiefs, so we had 5 temporary police chiefs in 1 year, and it was very frustrating to see our department go from one direction to another direction to another direction. So we kept changing, and we kept having people from outside coming into East Palo Alto telling us how to serve our community. So when the position came up, we got a new police chief, Chief Pardini. He wanted commanders from inside East Palo Alto Police because we know East Palo Alto better than anybody outside of East Palo Alto. And I saw it as an opportunity for us to have some consistency and have some representation of our community in determining what direction our police department went. And as a sergeant, I don't have much influence, but as a commander, I have a lot more influence. And so by promoting from within, we got the consistency, and we got to leverage our personal relationships a lot more, and to make our police department more an image of our community than somebody from some big city that wants to do things their way. So it helped us brand East Palo Alto Police more in the image of the community.
Very good. And
Thanks, Commander Liu. Then
Ida?
get
Ida?
Ida.
What is the most extreme call you got?
Okay, so there's been some bad ones. There's been some very bad ones. January 7th, 2006. I was a detective, and one of our police officers got shot while he was out serving the community. One of our patrol officers, he got shot and he died. And I was the detective called out to do that investigation. That was, the worst day of my career and the most extreme call I've been on, and one that I don't want to repeat.
Thank you for sharing, Commander Liu. Does anybody else have a question? We ask if you can raise your hand using the raise hand feature. We have time for 2 more questions.
I see one on here from, I can't tell what these characters mean, but I see one on the chat.
Okay. Do you want to ask the question that you see on the chat, Commander Liu?
It says, have you ever had a false crime? Does that mean like somebody reporting something that wasn't true?
Yeah, I guess.
Is that what the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we get that all the time. People try to use the police to get other people in trouble for things they didn't do. It happens a lot more often than you would think. It's the job of the officers going out to each call to talk to everybody involved and figure out what really happened. Because it's not fair. It's not fair. It's just not right for somebody to accuse somebody else of doing something when they didn't do it. So our officers, when they go out, they talk to everybody. They remain unbiased and they keep an open mind. And it's their job to make sure that they don't accept the report of a false crime. And it's actually a crime to do that. So they need to go there. They need to do their investigation. They need to figure out what really happened. So if somebody accused Isaac of doing something that he didn't do, we have to go out there and make sure that nothing happens to Isaac because what that person accused him of was a lie. So yeah, we get it more than you would think.
Thanks, Commander Liu.
Yeah.
And
One more question for Myra.
Yeah. So, I have a question for Jeff, Luke, Commander Luke. So like, have you ever gotten like what happens when like someone just prank calls your station?
Well, that happens a bit also. So if they call 911 and crank call it, then that is actually a crime and they can get in trouble for doing that. But if they just call the police department and crank call, then we just move on to the next call. We don't have enough time to deal with any nonsense. We don't have time to play games. So if somebody crank calls, then they crank call and we deal with it.
Commander Liu, do you have time for one more question?
Sure.
Okay. So we want to ask Jesus if he wants to ask his question.
Yeah. Have you been in a shootout?
Not a shootout, but I have been shot at. I don't remember which year it was, but it was on Fordham Street. And we had a report of a couple of guys that had guns. So myself and 2 other officers responded to it. When we got there, we announced that we were there. We announced police, and one of the guys shot his gun at us. And then right after he shot the gun at us, he dropped the gun and he ran away. But we found out who he was later on, and we caught up to him later and took him to jail.
Thank you, Commander Liu.
And thank you so much to everyone for joining my police for joining us to make my police talk possible. And also thank you, Miss Rivera, and thank you, Miss Belzer, for allowing me to present my Zoom talk to your students.
Thank you on behalf of Thiebaut Method also. Thank you to Ms. Rivera, Ms. Belzer, Commander Liu, and also you guys did such a good job. All of the students, you guys were very respectful and you asked great questions. I learned a lot too. So thank you guys for participating.
Yeah, again, I say the same thing. I thank you guys. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the interest. It really means a lot.
Thank you, Commander Liu. We hope you guys all have a great day and a great summer.
Have you ever got a call from kidnapping?
Sorry, what?
There's one more question on the tail end of closing the talk. I think
have you ever got a call from someone kidnapping?
Somebody saying there's a kidnapping? Yes, I have. Yeah, several times.
All right, guys, maybe
Okay.
we'll invite Commander Liu again for maybe next year. We'll come invite Commander Liu and one of his officers back so you guys can learn more and ask more questions.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe when all this COVID stuff is behind us, if you guys want, I could have an officer come by with a patrol car and have you guys run around in it and take a look at it and stuff like that. Give you guys some stickers.
Awesome.
But just let me know.
Yeah,
Let me
we
know.
will. We'll coordinate with Miss Rivera and Miss Belzer. Thank you, Commander Liu. You have a great rest of your day too. Bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Isaac.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Isaac. Bye bye.